All right, I don't know if we're live. We might be live. How are we doing, everyone? I was not prepared to go live, honestly. I did say tonight, so I wanted to make sure it was tonight. But yeah, so how we doing? How we doing? I just wanted to come on here. I have a few notes, and by a few notes, I mean a lot of notes. On the MCU, because everybody knows they messed up a little bit. I will talk about what I think exactly they messed up on and what they can do to improve in the future. But basically, I have a few notes here talking about what elements I need from the future of the MCU, what I think they should focus on, and how you kind of fix everything. Because they need to fix everything because it's not great, honestly. And before I get to that, what I want to talk about is the leaked Doomsday trailer, because that is not good. Um, like, if you're trying to, this is what I don't understand. If you're trying to get people to, like, want to come back and what, you can't have your trailer get leaked. You can't do that. It's just not good by any means for your trailer to get leaked. So, yeah. And like, I think they're trying to do too much, honestly. Like, you're trying to release 4 trailers, and you expected nothing to get leaked, first of all. Second of all, you're trying to release them in theaters. Like, Christopher Nolan did it with The Odyssey, because he was able to, because people weren't watching every single move, because people care about Christopher Nolan, but it's not, his movies aren't as big as Marvel consistently. Like, he's got like this movie, then this movie. Like, Marvel's like every single year multiple movies, and like it's like crazy. So people are like on it. Christopher Nolan isn't on some like he needs to get something done, and like because he has time, because every movie he's made has pretty much performed well. So people aren't like on him. So yeah, but you can't have your trailer leak. It's just not good. I mean, I saw glimpses. I didn't watch the full trailer because I just didn't want to. I'm gonna wait till it's good quality, and like there's no reason. I hope now, because if they don't release it online, I'm gonna go watch it. But if they release the trailer online, that would be great. Because I hope that's what they were going to do in the first place. Like, if you want to give the people who go to the theaters a little bit of early access, that's fine. But it shouldn't be like a whole month or like something like that. That would be fucking crazy. But yeah, I mean, should we get right into my thoughts? I hope you guys like the Christmas tree. It's been off camera for like these past few videos, but like I haven't like put it into camera view because it's like kind of like squishing me into a corner over here, but it's fine. It's good. I'm great. I have a drink. I don't need to get up. In case I have to piss, that would be bad. But it's fine. Anyways, let's kind of go through my notes. So I don't know what I want to start with, because I wrote one thing first that I think is really important. So the number one thing is they're I don't know how much, or if they are technically, but they seem like they're losing money, or if they're not losing money, they're not gaining enough money to make Disney happy, which is fair, which I don't think it's making anybody happy. Because then the movies might be worse quality, which is something you don't need. But budgeting smarter is definitely going to help them. Not rushing is definitely going to help them. Having a path is definitely going to help them. I'm going to talk about the do's and don'ts and what they've done and whatever, but let's just start on this. There's characters in your universe already established that are going to make you money. After Avengers Endgame, they needed a path, and they needed to filter through these characters. Your big money makers. Spider-Man, always going to make you money. Doctor Strange, proved after Multiverse Madness, was going to make you money. But the movie's got to be good. We'll get to that in a second. Black Panther, always going to make you money. It didn't matter that, sadly, Chadwick Boseman passed away he wasn't in the movie, but the impact the actor had on the character, on the franchise, on everybody in real life and in the universe was insane. That the people will go see a Black Panther movie because of what it stands for. It stands for him. It stands for the whole black culture. It's such a great franchise, and you gotta make movies with these characters. I know it was it was a confusing time because what are they supposed to do? So my point is, what I'm saying is, they have to keep making these movies, and they have to have somebody that is meant to be Black Panther. I get they wanted to wait, but I think now is the time. They're not doing a recast. I don't think they should do a recast because you're not recasting the character. This is what you should be doing with the multiverse saga. This is what you have. You can have a character from another universe, or have his son grow up to be the next Black Panther, because you established in the last movie that he had a son. So great. Sorry, I hit the mic there. My fault. But you got to keep making Black Panther movies. So Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Black Panther. Big three, honestly. I mean, you can look at a few other characters, but those are your kind of big three. A character that people will come back for regardless of if people love her, if people hate her. Wanda. People will come back to see this character, and maybe it's Elizabeth Olsen. Maybe she didn't want to come back. It doesn't seem like that, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have no read on her at all. But it seems like she loves the character, and it seems like Doomsday Secret Wars, she's probably going to come back, which will be sick. Hopefully, I don't know if they're going to resurrect her. I hope kind of not. Maybe, though. It would be cool to see the iteration of the character who is Magneto's daughter. I think that would be really cool, and I would love to see that dynamic, because we have not seen that dynamic ever, because we had Wanda, we had Magneto, we have multiple versions of Magneto, multiple versions of Wanda, and we just have not seen the father-daughter duo. Would be pretty cool, though. Would be a pretty cool duo. And that's what you can do with this multiverse saga after Secret Wars. That's what I'll say. Maybe get a little hint towards it in Secret Wars and Avengers Doomsday, but we'll see. Another character. Dude, I don't know if it's the highest grossing or like second highest grossing or what. Deadpool and Wolverine made you a bunch of money. People can argue if it's a good movie, a bad movie, what. It made you tons of money. So you can't really argue with that. Deadpool is going to make you money. So your big characters: Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Deadpool, Spider-Man, and Wanda. I think that's the big five. Can I count? Yeah, I think that's the big five, honestly. And you got to keep making movies with these characters. Yes, I do get, and I personally like Sam as Captain America. I didn't think he does a good job. I think he had a few cool moments in Falcon Winter Soldier, but I also think he had a few cool moments in Brave New World, even though I don't love that movie. I think the problem with that movie is they tried to... The movie just sucked, unfortunately. The problem was, it just... The story did not feel good. The villains were weird. I mean, Red Hulk is sick, but Red Hulk is not a Captain America villain. And, like... The Captain America is supposed to make the franchise feel whole. And you waited to give Captain America a movie? I understand it's Sam, and I understand my whole point is that he wasn't established enough for you to, like, give him a whole movie, but he's now Captain America. Get him to fill into that role. They tried to do it with Falcon Winter Soldier. Why are you doing it in a show? It's kind of weird, and it's also half the time he's trying to get the shield back, so Captain America doesn't even have the shield. It was just odd. It was weird. There was this, like, whole, like, vaccine plot that was probably had to do with some, like, pandemic, and then COVID happened, and the whole plot line messed up. I don't know, but, like, that was crazy. But yeah. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm reading my notes. But yeah, you got to start doing that now. But what I mean, we're getting Spider-Man, we're getting Avengers Doomsday, and we're getting Secret Wars. So yeah. All right, I'll just go. I think I was trying to write notes that were like kind of out of sync, and then whatever. Anyways, your magic movies is Doctor Strange. If you're gonna make a magic movie, include Doctor Strange. I think it's pretty simple. Your funny movies, go with Deadpool. He's gonna make you money. Go freaking do that. And yes, I'll explain how you can kind of layer these movies when you should release what. But yeah, how we doing? First person in chat, how we doing, Travis? Um, we're talking about how to fix the MCU because we're kind of messed up. But I think we're reading off our notes here, and we're talking about what characters you need to make money, and these are the characters: Doctor Strange, Deadpool, Wanda, Spider-Man, and Black Panther. You need your magic movies to be led by Doctor Strange, or and then your funny movies, Deadpool. Your deep X-Men plots, you're gonna hopefully bring Wanda back, and you can have Wanda into those plots. And then your kind of like traditional like superhero movie you get with Spider-Man and Black Panther. You get your kind of solo movies that like just feel like that character, and they're just bigger than the Marvel franchise. Those two characters you need to kind of like hit on their solo movies. But yeah, I mean that's great. But let's go into like what movie elements you need. My problem with Phase 5, I think, Phase 4 and Phase 5, they need more action. Because the problem was, like, especially, like, Fantastic Four, I think my main problem with the Fantastic Four movie, even though I loved it, was the fact that there was not enough action. It felt like the Thing kind of got sidelined because you couldn't just punch Galactus. I feel like Galactus as a like a sequel movie villain would have been great. I just wish we got to see them fight as a team and kind of work as a team a little bit more, defeating those smaller villains a little bit more in that intro would have really helped that movie. But it didn't feel like we knew the characters enough to do that. But yeah, you definitely need action. They're superhero movies. Like I think what people complained about with Eternals was that it didn't feel like a superhero movie, and they're going to see a superhero movie, so they want to see action and all that. I thought there was a decent amount of action, but it felt like there was even less in Fantastic Four, which really sucks. Because there's really great characters. You want to see them fight. But please, each phase that you have, from now on at least, like, what they already did, we can talk about for ages. If it was too much, if it was not enough, we'll see if the Russo brothers can come fix that in Doomsday and Secret Wars or whatever, and make us love the characters that they established. Only introduced a few new characters throughout a phase. Next phase, they need to establish only a few new characters so that we can fall in love with them and appreciate them. Like Yelena, they did a great job having her established with Black Widow, so we had a connection to a character, and then we got to see the other new character a little bit, and then we started to like her more, and then she showed up in Hawkeye, and then she went in Thunderbolts, and like she slowly got ramped up as a character, and that was great. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm reading your chat. But yeah, some of the newer projects seem to forget their Marvel shows instead of focusing on generic government espionage, which is boring. Yes, 100%. That's what I was saying with Captain America: Brave New World. I think they did it with Winter Soldier, and then they tried to develop it with the new Captain America, but it's like you can't do that if you're like, I'm sorry, the Russo brothers did such a good job with Winter Soldier. I personally, and this is one of my hot takes, I don't love Winter Soldier like everybody else, but I do recognize the effort and stuff they put into it that made it such a great movie, which they did not do with Captain America: Brave New World. but yeah, like they're trying to make it like bigger than it needs to be. Like there's no point of trying to do too much. Like they what they did with like Secret Invasion. Like I think they tried to do too much, and then they like had like weird power scaling of characters. Like certain like elements of Secret Invasion I liked. Honestly, at first, like I liked it before. Um a lot of people didn't care for Secret Invasion at all. I started liking in the beginning, but then I was like, nah. Um Yeah, you did. I see. Like, I think Winter Soldier's honestly boring, which I know is crazy, but I can recognize why people love it. I understand why people love it. But yeah, like Civil War is great. Civil War is absolutely fantastic and made us try to decide who we liked, and there was decent points between the two. I'm 100% Team Cap. I think Iron Man's stupid for one person who died is going to affect how he manages the Avengers, and he split the team apart because he trusted the government to handle what the Avengers were doing. That's literally why Infinity War happened, is to show us if the government took control of the Avengers, they wouldn't even had a chance to beat Thanos. And the fact that they were split up is the reason they couldn't beat Thanos. And then it led to Endgame, and we got back. But like, if the government had control of the Avengers, there would not been even a slim chance at beating Thanos. So yeah, that would not be very good. But also, my point earlier was that only a few new characters each phase. Like, we're gonna get the mutant saga, and like we're gonna see X-Men and whatever. There's gonna be a few new characters we're gonna establish. Give them a solo movie, or give them a solo show, or give them like a bunch of the characters in the first X-Men movie decent parts. And if one character kind of sticks out for people, probably a character like Storm, give her a solo movie. Give her a solo movie, and then you can make sequels for her, because I think people really love that character. And letting her like be like this like goddess where she can like scream like freaking monologues would be absolutely fantastic. I've talked about this before. But yeah, Storm is absolutely great. You saw her in X-Men 97. She was fantastic in that. Captain America isn't interesting when dealing with America. He's interesting when dealing with superhero situations through the American lens. 100% agree. 100% agree. It's like, I think an element to like Spider-Man's characters, like he should be in New York, so like that's why I didn't love like Far From Home. But like Cap has to be dealing with problems bigger than himself. Like, I think Captain America Brave New World did a good job of showing a bunch of different countries like going after the adamantium. Like, I thought that part of the movie was really cool. I think that was the only part of the movie that I really liked, and I wish we focused on that a little bit more instead of going on some like side plot. I thought that was weird. It's just odd. But also, keep your CGI top tier. They got a little lost splitting their CGI artists and their animators, and like everybody split up on Quantumania and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Wakanda Forever ended up being okay, but I think they sent a lot more resources to Wakanda Forever instead of Quantumania. So the CGI and the whatever looked really weird in some of those movies, which really sucks. And also, excuse me, Thor: Love and Thunder, also the CGI suffered. It's like, what are we doing? It's just really unfortunate. But yeah, keep your CGI top tier. But also something I loved about the Fantastic Four movie, keep your colors of your movie bold and bright or dark and gritty with like flashes of bright colors. That movie did such a good job of color grading their movie. Like, that was the most beautiful Marvel movie that I think we've had, and I loved it. I loved the way that movie looked, and I that's how I want the rest of the resetted universe after Secret Wars to end up. That's what I want the movies to look like. Like I said, if you could somehow integrate the 616 or 19999 or however many nines in that universe, the main universe, combine that with the Fantastic Four universe to kind of give the new universe that we get after Secret Wars, kind of give it a fresh, like comic booky feel. Like, I think when the MCU first started, they tried to do like Iron Man, and it was gritty and dark, just like The Dark Knight, and then the movies that came after that, like The Amazing Spider-Man. The first Amazing Spider-Man, I don't love. I mean, it's fine. The second The Amazing Spider-Man, I love. Hot take. I know that's a hot take too. But all these, like, and then the Fantastic Four movie they made back then was like just like militaristic and like dark and like gritty. It's like, what are we doing? And then now I think we're getting to a point where superhero movies should feel comic booky, and they're kind of getting the vibe of that with getting their costumes a little bit more bright and more comic booky. And I love that for superhero movies. It's great. That's why I love like Superman. Like, Superman just felt like such like ripped straight from a comic book. That was awesome. But yeah, it keep your movies beautiful, because man, and that's another reason I like Eternals. The reason why I like Eternals is because the movie is beautiful. Like, it is not shot. It's shot on location a bunch, and I absolutely love that. And it just felt like such a beautiful movie. I don't care. Some of the plot elements I think are a little weird or a little don't work great, but overall I love it, and it's another example of a beautiful movie. But yeah, as I was saying before, you got to ramp up these characters. Put them in a show or a movie or a special presentation, and let them be the second person, or let them be the third person in that movie, show, or special presentation, because then you can ramp them up to be a main character and have people love them and want to see more of them, and will go spend money on a ticket to go see them on the big screen. 100%. This worked for Yelena, and I think this can work for a lot of different characters. I think what they did with Thunderbolts is actually really great, because what they did is they ramped up Yelena, and what they did with Bucky over those few years, they ramped up Bucky to be more of a main character. I think people see Bucky and go, and you want that for your main characters. Like, that's a character we're going to see in Doomsday and Secret Wars. I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh my gosh, Bucky, it's great. Like, oh my gosh, you weren't like a main character in the Infinity Saga, but like, I love you all. I can't wait to see more of you. And like, that'll be so fun to see a character like that be in the movies more. Is he going to make it throughout Doomsday and Secret Wars? I don't know. We'll have to see, but he's great. And it sucks that he wasn't more in Captain America Brave New World, but that's coming for another time. But yeah, give them a movie once we love them. I don't think that's a hard concept to do. I mean, it worked. I think off of Endgame, a lot of things were going to work. So Shang-Chi worked. But also Shang-Chi was a great movie. So it was like already going to make money because it was a Marvel movie. And then it just made more because it came after Endgame. And it was a great movie. So that was fine. But like, even if the movie isn't like the best thing you've ever made, it can still make money because the other movies you make are very good. But they went on a bad streak after Multiverse of Madness with Thor: Love and Thunder, Quantumania, Wakanda Forever was good but not great. And then a few things after that, and the shows were bad around that time too. It was just a lot of unfortunate timing. But yeah, not Kevin's fault. It's because Alonzo, everything's screwing up. Yeah, it was just not. It was not great, honestly. I think the executives of Disney like really tried to push for everything. I don't blame Feige at all. If you were on Feige's back for what happened in the MCU, I think you're a little stupid. It's just not great. Love Star-Lord's show following him on Earth. He gets a knock from Dane Whitman from Eternals telling him his girlfriend was taken by a Celestial, quote, being the only human to kill one. Yo, low-key, I love that. Yo, low-key, that's fun. that would be a fun like thing. Like they could do like, see that is something like I think would work perfectly for a special presentation. You just put that on Disney Plus. I think people would be like, "Yo, this is so weird. I kind of love it." And you put two characters together, like, yo, like I would have never thought to put those two characters together, but I feel like that would just work. And then you put them, and then if you were to do an Eternals too, or you just want to deal with Celestials and another project, you could do that. You could bring in like Nova there. I think that would be really cool because he is sick, and I think people have been asking for him for a long time. If you get a new kind of Guardians of the Galaxy through that way, I think that would be really cool. But also I would love for them to just do a Midnight Suns, but we'll get to the Midnight Suns. If Star-Lord and Dane go off to New Asgard, get sent to Realm with dragons so Dane can earn the Ebony Blade, then unite them with the rest of the Eternals. Star-Lord teaming up with Thanos' brother would be enough to bring Gamora and the Guardians back into the fold. Yo, I love this. Yo, get this dude in the writer's room, bro. That's actually a crazy theory. That's actually fun. That's great. But, like, yeah, like, I think that would be a really fun special presentation where it's wacky enough to be, like, sick. I just don't know if they would put enough money into a special presentation like that. Maybe, though. I don't know. I think that would be fun special presentation so it's not that much of a risk. Or just do it in a show. Honestly, that's kind of sick. I think that would be funny enough and, like, fun enough for people to, like, want to watch that. Like I think they try to establish a lot of things in the shows and special presentations to try to have this like a fun side plot. I think that would be cool. And then if it does well and people want to see this, then you make the Eternals 2 or you make some other movie involving this plot. I think that would be sick. But yeah, that's actually really cool. I like that. I like that one. That's good. And then my other thing, keep the story in focus. Shows and the solo movies work when there's a clear path. Like you can take a risk, like this guy saying, make a story like that when the story's in focus. Like if you have that, and then you have the Eternals and have a plan with the Eternals to bring them back, have the Celestials fight Galactus or something like that, and have this kind of be like the bridge into that. I think that would be really sick. But yeah, don't wait 10 years to make an Avengers film. It's just not. It just don't do that. It would be. It's so stupid. We've had to wait this long for an Avengers film. I know they were supposed to do Kang Dynasty. I know that's supposed to happen, but they should have had a little stepping stone going into Kang's Dynasty. Even they should have done something even before that, because it felt like they were just making movie, and they were just trying to like find their way on the way to something. And they didn't know what it was. And they kind of needed to find a vision before releasing all these movies. And like they greenlighted everything before having a path. You can't do that. But yeah, honestly, I think it's fine. And what they should do is they should try to go into different genres. Like, I think it would be really fun to see like a fun like genre like hit like a horror / supernatural project would be really fun to see, like a movie like that. But like put that next to like a Fantastic Four sequel and like an X-Men movie and a Spider-Man movie, which you know is going to do well, and then you can kind of cash in on that and like see if this works. I think they tried to do that throughout Phase 4, and they were like, oh, so this is going to work. We're just going to throw all this money and all these projects out, and we're going to hope something sticks. And a few things did stick, honestly, and I think that's why I'm okay with Phase 4 and Phase 5 and, like, whatever. But now you need to get a path after Secret Wars, because you already started to lose people. If you can bring people back after Doomsday and Secret Wars, then I think you're fine. But, like, that wasn't a great stint for them. Dude, this guy's on something. I would bet, and I said on something. That was not supposed to be rude. My fault. That's not what I meant. I meant, like, you're on to something. My bad. That's not what I meant to say. I would bet money that Doomsday ends with Franklin Richards resurrecting the Celestial and Earth, all the characters being sent to Battleworld as 616 is destroyed. That would be a fire way to bring them into to Secret Wars. That'd be sick. Because he already has resurrected somebody. That is not a bad idea. I actually kind of love that. Yo, you're coming up with some good theories. I think the only, I mean, yeah, it's like you have like this guy frozen there. He's not technically dead. He's just kind of frozen there in stone. If you somehow get him unfrozen from stone, that could work. That would be sick. Peter Quill getting arrested for driving without a license, being represented by She-Hulk, only to flirt with her because she's green. That's actually fun. That'd be a fun way to bring. Like, I would love if they had like a show or something, and they brought in a bunch of different characters through like a cross country like road trip, and like slowly like they get all like the outcasts, and it's like Peter Quill, Dane Whitman, She-Hulk, Moon Knight. Like they get like everybody together, and then they go to the West Coast Avengers, and they set up the West Coast Avengers that way. I think that would be sick. And then have them off there, and then you can have like a movie called the West Coast Avengers, and it's all these like just weird characters together. I think that would be really cool. But like yeah, I think like a field trip or like a cross country like movie or something like that. That would be cool. Probably put Deadpool on that or something. Yeah, that's kind of sick. I actually love that. But yeah, my only problem, I mean, not my main problem. One of my problems for She-Hulk is I wished it was a show about her defending characters that we cared about. Like that's been a lot of my problems. It's like they haven't established projects that we've cared about the characters. Like that's one of my main problems with Multiverse Madness. But again, I'll get back to that. You know what? I'll cover that now. Multiverse Madness, I think, is one of the main reasons why the MCU failed. The hat guy from the Escape Podcast brought that up, and I love the Escape Podcast. I'm subscribed to the Patreon. They're great over there. But my thing is, yeah, Multiverse Madness gave us all these different universes, and by all these different universes, they only focused really on 838, our universe, and like one more or whatever. So that really sucked. They established the Illuminati and then killed characters that we didn't have enough time to care about. And when they did get screen time, they did nothing but be stupid. So, like, how did we not know this was the dumbest version of Mr. Fantastic, the dumbest version of Captain Carter, dumbest version of Captain Marvel, the dumbest version of Professor X, the dumbest version of Mordo, like, the dumbest version of Black Bolt? Like, how did we not know that? Maybe, and I get it was trying to, like, upscale Wanda, but it was at the cost of the movie, which really sucks. But now let's go into like what types of movies I want. There's 3 types: solo movie, team movie, and team up movie. Solo movie, totally sectioned away from the rest of the MCU, with elements outside of the plot are referenced but not essential to the plot. Example: Spider-Man Brand New Day, want to be solely just street level, just him or whatever, but like street level elements and villains or whatever are referenced or kind of mentioned. Oh, I work with this girl and she runs the 10 rings. Oh, and that's like Jai Ling from Shang-Chi, and if we get a Shang-Chi 2 and she's the villain of Shang-Chi 2, then he's got to fight his sister. I think that'd be really cool. But you can kind of like bring up and develop the street level with the solo movie. But I mean, you can do this in so many different ways, but that was just one example. A team movie where you get like a team like the Thunderbolts, the Guardians, the Fantastic Four, and they're a team, and maybe they interact with another team, or maybe they just fight another threat, but they're just a team that work together, that are either really cool or really funny or something like that, where they face a threat that's like somewhat intimidating, but not like a big bad, where it's this like crazy thing. Like Like, the Avengers fought Ultron. Ultron's sick, Ultron's scary, but the problem is, or not the problem, the good thing with that about that was is that they fought Ultron and then he was gone. I think you can bring Ultron back and that would be really sick, but you need to face a threat that they can defeat, or they can kind of hold off and kind of trap them somewhere or something, and they can come back later. And then a team up movie, that huge movie, which now is the Avengers movies, but I think eventually can be an X-Men movie or a Fantastic Four movie, can be that big movie where you bring everybody together. It's called Avengers now just because we established the MCU with the Avengers, but I think now we should focus on the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. We're getting some theories in here. Okay. In Black Panther 3, I'd love a situation where T'Challa's son, which is what I've said, they need to bring T'Challa's son in, is being hunted. He's about to be killed only to be saved by Zemo, who has protected him the whole movie to respect his father. Ooh, that's interesting, but honestly, we never saw Zemo's reaction to T'Challa's death, and I feel he has respect for him for saving his life. Honestly, I disagree. I think Zemo still kind of hates him for that. I think he wishes he was dead. Honestly, after being trapped in prison that long, I just think he doesn't mess with them. And I think having him in a Black Panther plot would just be weird, and like him being like the main person in that kind of feels weird, especially because they are bringing in a character, an actor like Denzel Washington into Black Panther 3. That's 100% confirmed. He's in Black Panther 3, and I think it would be way better to have Denzel's character be either the villain or the mentor character, being like the first Black Panther. If T'Challa's son T'Challa is able to get like a heart-shaped herb and eat that, he could go to the astral plane, or astral realm. No, what's it called? Yeah, whatever. But you can have that character, go and see Denzel's character, which I think should be Bashanga, which is the first Black Panther, and he can kind of give him wisdom, and I think that would be really cool. But I don't know what they're gonna do with that. The symbiote being in the MCU undoes Strange's spell. Wong pulling in Eddie to get his goo back, then leave would be fun. Yeah, I think that would be fun. I think, honestly, I think Strange's spell is stronger than people believe. Like, some people are like, oh, Spider-Man Brand New, Spider-Man Brand New Day is gonna have, what was I gonna say? He's gonna have Hulk remember him. I think that's just kind of silly, honestly. Like, I think if you have a spell that has everybody, and it's not everybody excluding the Hulk, forgets who you are, I think that would just be weird. Kind of like going, like, backtracking through that, I think would just be kind of odd. And I don't think it would honestly do too much for the character. I don't know. That's just weird. And I don't think they've had enough meaningful interactions for it to be important enough to, like, have him remember him. I think that would just be weird. Give us X-Men. Tell me about it, dude. I have a whole theory of how I think they're going to introduce the X-Men and the new version of the X-Men, hopefully the younger version of the X-Men, into Doomsday / Secret Wars into the future, where I think the first or second movie in 2028 is going to be X-Men. I think it's going to be Black Panther 3 and X-Men are going to be the first two movies after Secret Wars. I think that's 100% what they're going to do. Let's go to genres of movies. Comedy movies, you got Deadpool and Guardians of the Galaxy. You got to get movies like that. But like these are all the movies that I kind of want them to go into. Horror / supernatural. You had Werewolf by Night, and then you kind of had Moon Knight into that. Also like Agatha All Along and all that. But then this is where you bring in a Blade movie. I think you got to really go into the supernatural. Midnight Suns would be really sick. And then you have the cosmic movies like Eternals, Avengers Endgame, Doctor Strange, with that kind of like magic element. I think they can also do this with like a Nova movie, would be really cool. And then you got to get those section of traditional superhero movies like every once in a while, which is what I wish they did with Captain America Brave New World, and they just kind of fell flat on that, unfortunately. But you did that with Spider-Man Homecoming, Black Panther, Iron Man, Captain America, the First Avenger, Thor. Like, you kind of had that section off like, plot, and it kind of just gives the movie kind of like a clean slate, and you're not trying to interact with this or that or whatever. Like, it's just doing too much. It is interesting that Venom 3 and No Way Home both ended at the Statue of Liberty, where Venom is remembered and where Peter was forgotten. It makes sense that's where the symbiote and Peter meet. I do think they're going to bring in the symbiote. I don't think Peter being forgotten is going to be an element where they kind of fix it or kind of erase it throughout the plot of Brand New Day or Doomsday or Secret Wars. I just don't think they're going to do it. I think it's better off just kind of leaving it and just letting him kind of suffer through it. I'll explain that. I do have my notes on what I want to happen in Brand New Day. If between Avengers films they do an adaptation of Deadpool's Secret Wars, where he has to recruit a bunch of people for Secret Wars, that would be really fun. Yes, I do think they need to kind of establish between Doomsday and Secret Wars a project or a show or something where they kind of regroup like everybody together, and I think Deadpool would be a really fun way to do that, and just be like, oh, you're from a Disney Plus show? Oh, you're from a Disney Plus show? Oh, come on, we're all getting together, we're getting in this car, and we're gonna go to Secret Wars, we gotta go help them. I think that would be fun, and then he would be the one being like, this is my team. We're going to Secret Wars. We're going to fight Doom. And it's just like a fun way to bring in characters like that. Because it kind of feels like they've kind of sectioned them off, but to just bring them in like that, I think would be fun. And I don't think it would take away from anything. It would just be very Deadpool. I think it'd be kind of cool. And then you have your street level projects with Winter Soldier, Thunderbolts, and Civil War. But I think this is where you need to kind of give Spider-Man, let Spider-Man be Spider-Man, which is what you have built him up after his past trilogy of movies being Spider-Man, but also not being that traditional Spider-Man that I think a lot of people miss. And I think you did a really good job of No Way Home of giving not kind of erasing the character in No Way Home, but building him up and then using Tobey and Andrew not just as cameos, but turning him into what Spider-Man is supposed to be, and letting Aunt May deliver with great power, there must also come great responsibility, was really cool. I don't know how exactly she delivered the line, but I love the way she delivered it because it felt natural. It felt very like she said it. Like, it wasn't like this generic line that we have to kind of slip this in so it can build the character. It was like she said that from her heart, and it made sense in the plot of the movie, and it was, man, that movie's good. That movie's incredible. Alright, hold up. Deadpool recapping all of the shows and movies no one went to see in front of the characters and them would be great. I literally talk about this later in my notes. I think you use Deadpool as that bridgeway of like Doctor Strange is explaining the incursions to people, or he's like saying there was an incursion. Oh my gosh, we gotta go protect it. What's an incursion? Hey, Mister Strange. What's an incursion? Or he'll turn to the camera and being like, an incursion is when two universes collide together, and like I think that would be really fun, to have him kind of like go and like people are like, oh, what's a celestial, like there's a what's that big guy in the middle of what? That's a celestial. He's like there's an eternal. What's an eternal? and they all just start getting pissed off with them. I think that would be fun. But phase structure. And this is going to be a little confusing, so kind of work with me. Every 3 years, or every 6 movies, like phase 1. Then there's going to be a few shows and whatever in between there, so there's going to be enough in this to end the phase. You got to make these phases cleaner. That's all I'm saying. There should be a team-up movie at a decent scale. And it doesn't have to be Avengers Endgame every single time. Just up it. Just, it's a little bit bigger than Avengers 1. It's a little bit bigger than Thunderbolts. Or it's a little bit different than those movies. And I think you're fine. I think you can do that every 6 movies, or every 3 years, or every 4 years, or whatever, however you need to space it out. And then you can have that kind of like structure of a phase. Because it felt like, it was like, alright, we put too many movies. We're going to say that's the end of phase 4. We didn't really have a capping of phase 4. We're just going to end it there, and then we're going to call this phase 5. I always have to look up what was the end of phase 5 because I get confused. Like, I know that Avengers 1 is the last movie of phase 1. Like, I know that. And, like, I believe either Age of Ultron. I think Age of Ultron or, like, Ant-Man, or, like, one of those two are, like, or if not the last movie in phase 2, and then, like, Endgame or Far From Home, I don't know what it's considered, is the last movie of phase 3. Like it was you kind of see, like, oh yeah, that's definitely, like, the last movie, or one of the last movies. And then this excludes that big team-up movie. In a phase, you want to have, like, 3 or 4 solo movies. And that can include sequels to other franchises, to other characters. So, like, if you get, like, a Spider-Man 5 or a Spider-Man 6, like, or a Doctor Strange 3, you can have those solo movies. And then you have, like, 1 to 2 team-up movies, and, like, or team movies that aren't, like, that big team-up movie. You just have, like, oh, the Thunderbolts get a movie. Oh, the new Guardians get a movie. Oh, the Young Avengers or Champions get a movie. Like, you can have those kind of small team movies. And then, like, per phase, I think you have, like, 3 sequels. Like, 3 sequels, and then, like, 2 new movies. And then you cap it off with that big team-up movie. Not the huge one, Avengers Endgame every single time, but that big Age of Ultron, Avengers 1 team-up movie. I think that is a perfect structure for your phases. Before we get into the don'ts, let me make sure. Let's go back to chat. I did not watch Madam Web. I didn't hate Madam Web like most people, and think Adam Scott deserves another shot as Uncle Ben. A flashback with him and Brand New Day would be nice. Again, you're really on it with what I'm talking about, which is great. I'm glad I'm kind of getting what the audience wants, because, I mean, I watch these movies. I love these movies. You would hope that I would know what I'm talking about. Here are their don'ts. This is what you don't do. Introduce a bunch of new characters that overwhelms the audience. That's what you did with Phase 4. There's just too much, and then Phase 5 happened, and then there was no capping of a big new movie. I think a lot of people were already overwhelmed with Infinity War, and then you killed off a few people, which is good, to reset. But then they just said, oh, here's a new character, new character, new character, new character, new character. Oh, this one's in a show with a past Avenger, but there's a new character, and it was just too much. Not good. Do not give new characters their own show. Maybe it's fine every once in a while, maybe, but do not rely on that. Do not make that a main priority, giving this character a new show. We got Miss Marvel, we got Moon Knight, we got She-Hulk. Like, it was too much. Hawkeye was fine because we got to see the real Hawkeye, Clint Barton, kind of pass down his legacy to Kate Bishop. And I have to say, Kate Bishop like that every time because of the Tracksuit Mafia, because they're awesome. Do not rush your projects. It's what you did in that really bad time span when that CGI was bad and everything was poorly written and overwhelmed and didn't make sense in the grand scheme of things. Just not good. Secret Invasion, do not rush. Come on, take your time. Because just rushing because you're panicking because you're losing money is going to lose you more money. Just does not make sense. Do not mislead the audience too much. A little misdirecting of the audience is fine because then you get fun surprises. Like, that's great. When you can truly surprise an audience without them predicting it, that's awesome. That is what makes great projects, great movies, great shows. But kind of like saying, oh, here's one thing. Oh, and then we never do it. Oh, here's the aerospace engineer we're hyping up in WandaVision. Oh, and then it's nothing. Oh, there's a looming threat in WandaVision. Oh, it's just White Vision that Paul Bettany said he wants to work with this actor, and it was just himself. Not good. That just was not good. Not caring about the stakes. Do not care about the stakes of the project. Again, what I was saying with Multiverse of Madness, they brought up stakes. Oh, the Illuminati's gonna die. Oh, they did die. Oh my gosh. If I cared about them, that would be my reaction. But I didn't care. There was no oomph. Like, there was like, oh, Wanda's killing all these people. That's pretty cool because we care about the character. So this is crazy. She's like turning into this like true villain. Like, this is scary. But we didn't care. We're like, oh, she's just killing them. That's kind of cool. But then there was nothing else on top of that. Just weird. And do not make without a purpose. Do not make your projects without a purpose. You need a purpose for your projects. If you're gonna run a franchise and you're not just focusing on one movie, one plot, one set of characters, you are a connected universe. That's what you've been great at. Fantastic at, even. Fantastic Four. You've been fantastic at your whole time. Rely on yourself to make good projects. You make a good project, you make a good project, you make a bad project, you make a good project. And then you can kind of slowly wipe away the mistakes of that bad project with your 3 other good projects, and you make something great after that, and you kind of include the good elements of that bad project, and then everybody forgets about that bad project because they're like, oh, I don't have to go watch that because now I have this, so then we're fine. But I don't know. But before we get to what they need to do, I'm going to go grab a drink. I will be right back in about 20 seconds. So 1 second. Alright, told you I was going to be back. Alright. This is kind of like the wrap up. This is what they need to do with their upcoming movies. Spider-Man Brand New Day. This is the list of things you need to do. Build the street level threats so that future projects can build on it, even if the threat isn't the immediate threat. This is the movie where you say, okay, here's the Spider-Man villain. Here's a few other villains that fight him. Here's a montage of what he's been up to since No Way Home. Let's see where Peter's at. Let's see who he's interacting with, which is my second element. Introduce the iconic Spidey associated characters. Gwen Stacy, Harry and Norman Osborn, Black Cat. Introduce these characters. Have him have a connection with these characters. He's going to college. Let them be at his college. And let that be a main thing. Because we're going to have Hulk in this movie, bring back the real Hulk. Do not have not dumb Hulk, smart Hulk. Do not bring in Smart Hulk. He should be in it for a minute or two, and then we get real Hulk, because that character is so much more interesting. Because honestly, I think it's so fun, and not even fun, just real. And I think that's the reason why they brought back Mark Ruffalo and Hulk and Bruce Banner into this movie, is along with the Punisher, is to show Peter how to deal with his mental health and losing his Uncle Ben, losing Tony, losing Aunt May, losing his whole life and his identity, and kind of feeling alone. And like, I think what this movie is going to do, and I really appreciate, is talk about men's mental health, which is really important. And if you need help, you go talk to somebody. There is somebody that will care for you. If they do not seem to be in your life right now, they will be. That is going to happen if you just stay with us. That's like, what's important is you need to take care of yourself. And I think what this movie is going to do is it's going to talk about that and how people deal with their grief, and show how it can happen in crazy things can happen, and you can deal with it in poor ways, like the Punisher, or you can try to tame it and take care of yourself and not go into this blind rage like the Hulk, and you can kind of meditate and try to be calm and deal with it and handle it in a way that is good. And I think that's why these characters are going to be in this movie, and I think that's really important, which is really cool. But I think that's the element of the Hulk that we kind of have missed over the past few years, is you kind of need to see what Hulk is supposed to represent. It's supposed to represent this, like, untamable rage with somebody that, like, can handle it. The Hulk is a metaphor for men taking their mental health and not handling it well, and it coming out in rage, and they can't handle it, and it's a lot. But if they start to take care of themselves, they can kind of manage it in a way that's healthy and smart. And I think that's a message that Bruce Banner is going to have for Peter. He's going to talk to him about being the Hulk and what that means for him and how he handles it. And he's going to kind of lose control throughout the movie, because I think of other threats, and the villain throughout this movie is going to kind of reactivate that dumb Hulk, so that Peter can see that maybe he's not taking things well. Maybe he's kind of listening to the Punisher, and he takes the symbiote suit, and he does dark and bad things. And then throughout the movie, he realizes that he needs to be more like Bruce Banner, and with how he handles his life. But we'll get back to that in a second. You're going to put Sadie Sink in this movie. She is fantastic in Stranger Things. I love her as Max. She is so fantastic. Such a great actress. Give her a significant role. Whether it's a Spider-Man role, an X-Men role, I don't know who she's going to be, but give her somebody that she can be in multiple movies. Multiple Spider-Man movies, or multiple Avengers movies, or multiple X-Men movies, where she can just shine, because she's great. Do not rush MJ and Ned back into the plot, / allow the sacrifices that Peter made in No Way Home hurt him. Allow for the things he gave up to be actual things he gave up. I think the characters are best, the superheroes are best, is when you see them down and hurting, and they are so great that they are able to step up and overcome something that no one should be able to overcome. But they show the audience, they show the little kids that go to see these movies that they can do anything. They can overcome things that no one should be able to overcome, because they they're great. They're people. The people in the movies are the superheroes are getting hurt and taken down and whatever, but they stand up and they show people that they can show up and stand up and overcome stuff. But if you kind of erase what happens in No Way Home and don't put and you put MJ and Ned back and just everything's great and everybody remembers him, whatever, it would kind of take away from what No Way Home meant for the character. But as Travis has mentioned before in the comments, thank you for commenting. You got to introduce the impact of Uncle Ben and Aunt May had on Peter. I think what they focused on the character originally was Iron Man and his mentorship to him, which is fine for the MCU. I think that's fine, and that's what you built up after those 3 movies, and you got to see how sad he was after losing Tony, and their connection was so great. I absolutely love them, and everybody calling him Iron Boy Jr. sucked. But now I think this next trilogy is going to focus on him being a traditional Spider-Man, and I absolutely love Tom Holland, and I think he's going to do a great job. But I think what they need to show, again, I think the thing is of this movie is going to show how much Peter is really shutting down and doesn't have a support system. He doesn't have Aunt May, Uncle Ben, Happy Hogan, Iron Man. Like, he doesn't have all these characters and people in his life to make him feel better. But when you're down low, you have to think of the good times and people that stepped up in your life and you had good memories with. And I think somebody in that in this that could be that is Uncle Ben and Aunt May, and showing us flashbacks of him remembering memories with them of them raising him. And when I think when you're down, you kind of go back to an earlier part in your life where things seemed simple and things seemed just nothing could have went wrong, and you kind of are sad where you are, but you kind of remember that, like, everything's gonna be okay. Like I want to make these people proud. These people raised me and they took care of me and believed in me, and I don't want to let them down, and I don't want to let my younger self down. I want to do great. I want to do great things. And I think showing what Uncle Ben meant to him and what Aunt May meant to him is going to be really important throughout this trilogy. And honestly, I hope they do a trilogy with this character. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. But I think it's really important to show the impact they had on him. And I think, yeah, when you're down, he's going to kind of reminisce in his old life. He's going to have that nostalgia. I think a lot of people kind of get too much into their nostalgia, but I think it's something that can help when you're going through a tough time. And then finally, for Spider-Man Brand New Day, I need them to introduce a new live-action villain that gives fresh problems and a fresh dynamic for Spider-Man that still stays true to the character. It's not this, like, so out there thing where it doesn't feel like Spider-Man anymore. That would just suck. So don't do Green Goblin. I did say bring in Norman Osborn, but I think eventually maybe you can do Green Goblin, but not yet. I think it's been too soon since No Way Home it was Green Goblin, and then Tobey had Green Goblin. I think if you save him for, like, the last Spider-Man movie, I think that would be a good wrap-up for the character. But I think now you got to bring in somebody like Tombstone, I think, is confirmed for this movie. Bring in Kingpin. Like, have these characters, have Spider-Man deal with characters that give him, like, a new fun dynamic that we haven't seen in live action. Maybe in a video game, bring in Mr. Negative in this movie, I think, is the perfect fit for this movie, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But I think if you have him deal with a threat that we haven't seen in live action and we have only seen in comic books or video games, I think it'll be really fun and really important for a live action movie to kind of feel fresh. And I think that would be great. Um, but eventually, if you want to do Venom, you want to do Doc Ock, you want to do Green Goblin, that's great. I think they do the symbiote suit. Symbiote? I don't know. Um, I think that would work very well. Avengers Doomsday. Trailer just got leaked today. But what do people want knowingly or unknowingly want from this movie? Give characters meaningful interactions that can come back in future sequels. You have Cap and his best friend interact in so many movies. Bucky and Steve Rogers. Captain America 1. The first Avenger. He's in it. Best friend dies. Doesn't actually die. Winter Soldier comes back. He fights Cap. They clash together. He's really cool, but he's a villain. Then he realizes, maybe I'm not the Winter Soldier. Maybe I was somebody else before I was the Winter Soldier. So then in Civil War, finally, Bucky's like, I'm Bucky Barnes. And Cap's like, yeah, you are. You're my best friend. And we're both really old. And he protects him. And you slowly build that up. And then he's Infinity War. And then he's in Endgame. And then everybody loves Bucky. So then put him in a movie. Yes, you put him in Captain America Brave New World, but he was barely significant in that movie. And then in Thunderbolts, he was barely significant in that movie. He should feel like a main Avenger, a main character, because that's what he deserves. Yes, he's a little messed up, but that's what you dealt with in Falcon Winter Soldier. That's what you dealt with Falcon Winter Soldier. And then he's a governor or some congressman. So you kind of were like, oh, people are starting to like the guy. So let him be a front runner. And I think that's hopefully what they do in Doomsday. But we'll see. But what I'm saying is, in this movie, you have to have characters that are newer or kind of were in the background, kind of come back into the focus and give them meaningful interactions with characters that are in the focus. Have some characters, like have Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man's not a good example. But have some of these new characters or background characters interact with characters that are going to be in the spotlight, like Doom or like Mr. Fantastic or Yelena, or like have these characters interact with some of the characters that we know and love. Like, that's why you're putting Hulk in Spider-Man Brand New Day, so he can interact with Spider-Man and they can get closer, and that's great. And that's why the character is going to feel more comic booky and more whatever, because he's more into the world with so many other superheroes. Yes, it's a solo project. It's going to focus on Spider-Man, but he can interact with other people. That's great. Another thing I think people might disagree with. This movie should not be in Battleworld pretty much at all. I want it to be like an X-Men 97 Season 1 finale where we kind of see all the characters get sent to another universe or another time or another play or like whatever, and they're all spread apart. And that's kind of what I want to see. I want to see so many different weird teams. It's like we see like some of the members of the Fantastic Four with some of the X-Men and some of the Avengers here and here and here and here and here. And they're so spread apart. But you get to see so many fun interactions that you won't normally get to see in a new movie. Like, you won't have the Fantastic Four with the Avengers and the X-Men and whatever, and like only a few of those characters interacting with each other, unless it's this big team-up movie. Which is what I want to see from Doomsday, is you build their connections throughout the movie, and then in Secret Wars, you're going to have the characters who interacted the most or had the best interactions together team up and are going to be split apart by Doom, because he knows, oh, these people are a team and these people are a team. Let me all split them up. and they won't be able to stop me because they're going to be so messed up, and they're going to be fighting this threat and this threat, this villain, this villain, and this villain. Oh, this villain runs this area of Battleworld, and this villain runs this part of Battleworld, and oh, we're going to lock them up over here, and we're going to lock them up over there. But they're going to be able to work together because they're great and they're superheroes, and they'll be able to figure out because they always will, and they always can, and they always are going to. But yes, kind of have Doomsday, have them look off into the distance and look defeated and look sad, and they lose in Doomsday. I think that's an obvious thing. I think it'd be weird if they won in Doomsday, because then we're getting Secret Wars, which would be weird, but I don't know. But yeah, I think it'd be fun to split all these characters up and have Battleworld be that kind of like last thing. Then you want to link the old characters and plots to new characters to get the audience to want to care about the characters going forward. It's the one thing I think is the most important thing going forward. You're going to bring back RDJ's Doom. You're going to probably bring back Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, Captain America. You're going to bring these characters, you're going to bring back the old version of the X-Men into the universe. You're going to probably bring back Toby and Andrew and whatever. Have what happened in No Way Home to happen to everybody. Captain America, Sam Wilson, should have more interactions with Steve Rogers to help build that character up more. And he should kind of interact with the character and say, Steve should kind of look proud. He should be like, yeah, you're doing a great job, man. Like, you're like, this is exactly what I wanted for you. I wanted you to become this great Captain America, and he's going to do it in this movie, and it's going to make, he's going to have certain moments protecting Steve and whatever, and like, and doing things that Captain America would do, and it would make the character even better, so that when he gets another movie, we're going to be like, okay, I want to go see that. I want to see this character have more of those moments. You can, but this is what happened in No Way Home. Tom Holland's Spider-Man now feels like more Spider-Man than he has ever felt because of what happened and the interactions he had with Tobey's Peter Parker and Andrew's Peter Parker. That those interactions, those three of them working together, made each of those three characters even better than just from them in their normal movies. They've been great. But this is very important for your X-Men. Your old version of the X-Men has to interact with the younger cast of the X-Men. I want Secret Wars to involve the new cast of the X-Men pretty much fully throughout the movie. Because then, when we see them in the future, we can be like, oh, I saw them interact with, a different version of themselves. Or another character like that. Like, X-23 interacts with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. And then we see Storm interact with Halle Berry's version of Storm. Like, that would be great. Or renew Professor X and Magneto. Interact with this version of Professor X and Magneto. Also great. But that's what you gotta do. Yeah, there's also a lot of details I want, and I can talk about what I want in Doomsday, but those are like the three big things. Avengers Secret Wars. Reset the universe to a degree where making solo movies feels fresh again. And it's not this overcrowded thing like, don't make this solo project so that we have too many things going on. You should be able to make a solo movie without it feeling overcrowded, because you're going to make 10 different solo movies of new characters and it's going to be too overwhelming. Don't do that. I already talked about my don'ts. Kill off characters that will actually make an impact. Don't kill off characters just to kill off characters. But also, I don't want to feel safe with anybody. We shouldn't feel safe with any character except for Spider-Man. Everybody should be on the table. You're not going to kill Spider-Man just because you're not going to kill Spider-Man. Doctor Strange could be gone. Thor could be gone. Hulk could be gone. Sam Wilson, Captain America could be gone. Bucky could be gone. We'll have to see. I would love to see a movie with Bucky and Sam Wilson, Captain America, but we'll have to see. Give us a lot of screen time for our new younger mutants, and then give them impactful screen time with the older X-Men. I just talked about this, so I'm not going to go back over it. And then again, as I said earlier in the movie, as I said earlier in the video, allow Deadpool, if he's in this or Doomsday, be that comedic honesty for the franchise directed towards the audience to help casual fans understand what's going on. If Doctor Strange is explaining something, Deadpool can ask questions. If Deadpool is saying, "Oh, what's this?" Whatever, you can have Doctor Strange explain it, because you're gonna have casual audiences turn to the people who have been watching every single movie and show and every single thing. Turn to those people and be like, "What's going on? Who's Deadpool's explaining. Oh, watch Deadpool's explaining what's going on," and it would be very easy. And this is what you do for the future. Focus on your new properties like Fantastic Four and X-Men. Don't try to redo the Avengers. You had the Avengers. Now you're getting these great characters. Let them be great. Go make stories on these new characters. Don't try to drag down the Avengers. You had the Avengers. They were great. They had the Infinity Saga. Now they had the Multiverse Saga. Let them go and be kind of in the background. But give branches of the Avengers spotlight, like Young Avengers or Thunderbolts or West Coast Avengers, because it seems like the Avengers team is going to be huge, so you can kind of split them up and pair them with another team, or give them kind of the side mission. You can do stuff like that. X-Men should use older characters like Hugh Jackman to be the teachers, and Wolverine as a teacher, so you can focus on different X-Men in the future, like Gambit, like Rogue, like Storm, like Jubilee, like Nightcrawler, a few other characters that weren't the main focus of the 2000s X-Men. You can have now be the spotlight, which would be really fun. Have X-23 be the Wolverine rather than it just being Wolverine. I think that would be great. Fantastic Four should be in constant battle with a newly casted Doctor Doom. Do not have RDJ as the Doctor Doom through forever. I hope the Doctor Doom in Fantastic Four's universe is not RDJ, just because I think it would be way better to have the interactions between Reed Richards, Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards, interact with the Doctor Doom that he has been against his whole life, and they've always kind of hated each other. Have him fight against Doom throughout all their movies, throughout all the team-up movies. Have Doctor Doom be a threat again and again and again, and he should really kind of never go away. But you can't do that when you have to pay RDJ that much money to come back, and he's getting older. And I think it'd be way better to not have such an old Doctor Doom be the threat forever. Do I love that RDJ's Doom? Yes, 100%. I think a lot of people kind of got scared and are kind of picky, and I think a lot of people, when they hear castings, they kind of freak out at first. They do it with every freaking movie. You'll hear it, not even just in franchises like Marvel. They'll do it for some weird movies. They'll be like, "Oh, well, they shouldn't do this and they can't do that." Come on, they're actors. Give them a shot. If you see in the movie and you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. But don't go straight off of casting. It's not worth it. And then take a shot in the dark with some weird genres or characters after big movies. After the first X-Men movie, you can try to do something fun. Finally getting to do Blade. So you get Black Panther 3. Make that great. It's going to make you tons of money. The first X-Men movie is going to make you tons of money. And then bring in the Young Avengers. Give the Young Avengers in a movie. Give Thunderbolts 2. Have, again, something supernatural like the Midnight Suns or Blade. Do something fun and creative after you know you're going to make tons of money. Tons of money. Tons of money. Tons of money. Risky if it doesn't make tons of money, then it's fine. But also, it's probably still going to make tons of money because the last 4 movies we made a ton of money. So this next one should also make us tons of money, or more money than it would if we kind of paired 5 movies like it next to each other, which is what I think they try to do throughout the Multiverse Saga, which really sucks. But I've been talking a lot. It's getting late. We had a really good live stream. If you guys want to talk more, thank you for everybody who showed up. Punisher who showed up, Travis who showed up. Thank you for showing up and commenting too. I really appreciate the comments and the theories. And they were really fun to talk about because you guys had some really good theories and you guys want to talk about a lot of different stuff, which is great, which is what we want. And we want everybody to come back and go see Doomsday and Secret Wars in the theaters. We love our theaters. Netflix, keep the stuff in the theaters and don't put the thing straight on the streaming because that sucks. And y'all have a good night. I'll catch you that. I've been talking a lot. I'm messing up. I'll catch you guys in the next one. If you cannot have a fantastic day today, have a fantastic day tomorrow. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya!